Welcome to early modern Europe, a period of profound transformation and turmoil. As the 15th century drew to a close, the winds of change were already beginning to gust across the continent. Kings and queens sought to consolidate their power, reaching beyond the old feudal systems that had dominated the medieval landscape. In the heart of these developments stood the mighty printing press, a recent invention that was about to ignite a wildfire of ideas. The first book it produced was the Gutenberg Bible in 1455, setting a precedent for an explosion of literary activity. While Europe's leaders centralized their rule, imposing heavier taxes to fund vast standing armies, the once dominant Italian merchants and the Hanseatic League faced a new challenge. The age of exploration was dawning, and with it, a shift in economic power as new trade routes opened across the oceans. Amidst these political and economic upheavals, a more personal revolution was brewing, the Reformation. It began quietly with men like Martin Luther and John Hus, who dared to challenge the Church's teachings, escalating tensions that would soon divide Europe not just politically, but spiritually. The religious strife reached its peak with the 30 Years' War, a brutal conflict that redrawn the religious and political map of Europe. It was a time of great heroes and even greater villains, of deep despair and shining hope. Amidst this chaos, the arts flourished as never before. The Baroque style emerged, infusing music, art, and architecture with its dramatic intensity and rich detail, mirroring the tumult of the times. On the political stage, figures like Queen Elizabeth I and King Louis XIV became icons of their age. Elizabeth, with her astute governance during a time of religious and political challenges, and Louis with his grandiose vision of monarchy, epitomized by his statement, "L'État, c'est moi," I am the state. The 17th century wound to a close with Europe vastly different from 100 years prior. Nations had risen and fallen, the map had been redrawn, and through it all, the human spirit endured, adapted, and evolved. But what of the East? As Europe's heartland waged wars of faith and kingdom, a giant in the north awakened. Tsar Peter the Great, an emperor with a vision, would drag Russia into the modern era with an iron will. Inspired by the innovations of Western Europe, Peter revolutionized Russia's military might, its laws, and its society. He built an army from the ground up, a force of conscripted peasants transformed into disciplined soldiers. And what is an empire without a navy? Peter established the Imperial Russian Navy, carving out his country's place as a formidable maritime power. His eyes turned to the Baltic, the window to the west he so coveted. The stage was set for a clash of titans, the Great Northern War, a decades-long battle for dominance. Sweden, the once mighty empire, would yield to Russia's persistence, marking the rise and fall of nations in the unforgiving game of power. In the midst of marshland, Peter birthed a city, St. Petersburg. Rising from the swamps with the toil of forced labor, it would stand as the emblem of Russia's new dawn. The Great Northern War's end not only brought about territorial gains, but symbolized a new epoch. Russia had declared itself an empire, no longer a kingdom, but a power that held sway over vast stretches of Asia and Europe. As the 1700s marched on, Russia, along with Prussia and Austria, took their places on the grand chessboard of Europe. These states, newborn giants, would cast long shadows over the centuries to come. Thus closes our tale of early modern Europe, a time when every day was a stroke of the painter's brush on the canvas of history, each moment shaping the world we know today. Thanks for watching. For more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.